The medication search window enables you to set up user-defined lists of favorite medications and set up specific defaults for the medications saved as your favorite. You can use a favorites list to prescribe medications faster by selecting the required medication from your list and bypassing the search process. In this lesson, you'll learn how to set up a favorite medication list and change the default for a medication. With the Medications module open, you can open the Medication Search window by clicking the Medication Search button or by clicking Prescribe New. Click Prescribe New. Here you can search for medications and set up your medication favorites lists. Medication favorites are saved per provider and do not work in conjunction with formularies. The medication favorites lists display based on the provider selected here or in the Medications module. To set up a medication favorites list, click the blank tab. The Favorites 1 tab is now added to the list. Let's set up an antibiotics medications list. To rename the Favorites 1 tab, I'll right-click it for you. Click Rename Group. Type antibiotics and press Enter. Now, let's add antibiotics to the list. I'll search for the medications in the antibacterial agents class for you. You can select a specific dosage or form under a medication name and drag and drop the medication to the favorites list. Click 250 milligram. I'll drag and drop the medication for you. The medication is now in the list. If you want to add all dosages of a medication to the favorites list, you'd simply click the medication name and drag and drop it to the favorites list. Let's do this for amoxicillin. Click here. I'll drag and drop the medication for you. Notice that all dosages of amoxicillin have been added to the antibiotics list and display with their default information. Let's take a look at how to change the default information for a medication. Because we added the 250 milligram capsule dosage first, then the whole medication list to the antibiotics list, the 250 milligram capsule dosage of amoxicillin appears twice in the antibiotics list. Duplication of a medication dosage can sometimes be useful if you want the same dosage with different SIGs. I'll right-click the first medication for you. Select Edit. Now, the medical information for the selected dosage becomes editable. Click the SIG field. The SIG pad displays with the most used SIG, first Databank default SIG, and other SIGs available for this medication. If the SIG you want is not listed, you can type in your SIG here. To scroll down, click here. Select this SIG. Click Done. Now, click the Quantity drop-down arrow. To scroll down, click here and select 40. Click Save. You just changed the default information for the 250 milligram capsule of amoxicillin. If needed, you can double-click the medication to prescribe it for a patient. If there is a dosage or form of the medication that you never use, you can remove it from the favorites list. To scroll down, click here. To remove the 250 milligram chewable amoxicillin from the list, I'll right-click it. Select Remove. Click Yes. To delete the favorite antibiotics list, click the X. A confirmation message displays. We do not want to actually delete this list, so click No. In order to show you how to add a medication from one favorites list to another, I'll create the cold and flu medication favorites list for you. Click the Antibiotics tab. To add this amoxicillin 250 milligram capsule dosage to the cold and flu favorites list, I'll right-click the dosage. Click Add To and select Cold and Flu. Click the Cold and Flu tab. Notice that amoxicillin 250 milligram capsule has been added to the cold and flu favorites list. To modify the cold and flu list, I'll right-click the tab. You can choose to rename the group, or make it the default group. If you choose the Make Group Default option, the next time you open the Medications search window, this group will be the default search group. Select Options. You can choose the options for medication information. Click Cancel. Click the All tab. Notice that the medications from the antibiotic favorites list display here. The medication from the cold and flu favorites list also displays here. After creating the medication favorites lists, you have more choices to search for a specific medication. Click the Search drop-down arrow. Let's refresh the list. Click here. Select the Search drop-down arrow. You can choose to search the first databank or the medication favorites lists that you just created. To close the window, click here. You just learned how to set up a medication favorites list and change the default for a medication.